What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JB, aka the King of Soul, and today we got some Jordan 11s to look at. The Air Jordan 11 Retro. This is the Concord colorway. This is that DMP 2023 version. Before we get into the review, do me a favor, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. If you do dig the content, also make sure you hit that share button. These videos that we do on this channel are strictly for review purposes, so if you guys do have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave those below. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the review. Now, the Air Jordan 11 Retro, to be honest, like, this is actually one of my favorite Air Jordan 1 silhouettes of all time. It is actually, I would go as far as say, like, this is the sneaker that kind of made me a sneakerhead. I remember the first time this actual sneaker actually came out. It was back in year 1994. I actually got my hands on an early pair of these sneakers because it actually was released in January of '95. I remember Christmas morning. My mom was actually a manager for a retail store in a local mall back home. And it was a situation where she was actually able to get her hands on a pair of these like early. For the most part, like, there's things about this sneaker that I do feel that, like, you know, kind of makes this sneaker stand the test of time. I don't care how many colorways they come up with this sneaker, it's just that it just never gets old. And I just remember waking up Christmas morning, 1994, and just being so excited to get this pair in hand. But the hype around this sneaker when it was actually released, I know like OG sneakerheads kind of remember the East Bay magazine, and I remember, like, you know, photos of this sneaker started to surface around that time because, like, you know, Mike actually was wearing the sneaker in game and everything, so people were just kind of excited for the release. So you guys could just imagine how I felt to be, like, you know, how I felt to be one of the first people to actually have this in hand. And this sneaker is actually set to release, like, you know, later on this year. And it was actually gifted to me from, like, you know, a seller. And definitely I want to take the time to shout them out. Because, like, here we are full circle. This is an early look at this pair here. So let's just go ahead and get into the review itself. Now, the sneaker, it does, like, this time around, Jordan Brand, they are giving us this. It's a all black sneaker box, and it does have, like, you know, the hits of gold. There's, like, you know, this ring here, I guess, like, you know, just to kind of, like, you know, give you access, whether if you want to, like, stick a finger in there to kind of, like, you know, move around with the box and everything. They do have, like, you know, this hit of gold here on the front of the box here. It's actual, you know, the number 23, which was Michael Jordan's jersey. Here on the front of the box, they actually, on the top of the box, they actually have, like, this gold Jumpman here. And that's pretty much, like, you know, all the gold that I see here. But there's the top of the box. And then I'll go ahead and give you guys a 360 of that. There's the box label. And there's the bottom. Now, the box label does read, so the colorway of the sneaker, it says Air Jordan 11 Retro. It says white, metallic, and black gold. So when you open the box, you are met with, and I'm trying to get this on camera, they do have this, it says thank you here, embossed in this gold. And then you are met with this white wax tissue paper. And on the paper, it does have this writing, and it looks like it does say thank you in several different, like, you know, languages. But it does come double wrapped. There is, like, this plain white tissue paper in here as well. But pretty dope shoe, man. Like, the thing most noteworthy about this actual sneaker is, like, you know, the hits of the patent leather. Oh, let me get that gold right there on the inside of the box. Gold Jumpman. But this particular sneaker, like, yeah, the thing that was most noteworthy was the patent leather on this sneaker. Now, early releases on this particular Air Jordan 11 sneaker The patent leather was actually cut a little bit slimmer. Recently, I would say like back in, I think it was 2015, 16, when they actually did the Air Jordan 11 Concords with the 45 on the back, they started to actually release the Air Jordan 11s with this thicker cut of patent leather here. And the patent leather does go around the entire sneaker itself, but pretty solid release. And I'll be honest, let's go ahead and look at the right sneaker like always. Now, this particular sneaker, again, you do have that hit of patent leather going across the entire upper of the sneaker. Now, this particular release, I wasn't really as excited because I was kind of under the impression that was just going to be another Air Jordan 11 release, and then by it being a DMP, a few years back they actually had like another Air Jordan 11 DMP that was kind of similar to this, where it was like, you know, the pretty predominantly white and then like, you know, the black patent leather, and then it did have like the hits of gold. The only thing on this particular sneaker, the patent leather is, again, like it has like, you know, that higher cut of patent leather on this sneaker. The thing that's a little bit different on this one that I did kind of like, now when Jordan Brand does release like these Air Jordan 11 sneakers, in most cases we are met with like this mesh material on the entire upper of the sneaker. This one is a little bit different, so they did give us this entire upper portion of the sneaker in this thick cut, heavy tumble leather material. I thought that was a pretty solid touch when I found out, because again, I wasn't really a fan at first, but once I saw that they kind of like, you know, added the touch of leather on the sneaker, my mindset kind of like, you know, changed with this release, because like I kind of felt like, you know, whatever. Now, there's a few things with this sneaker that I don't like. In most cases, the biggest thing is the sole of the sneaker, okay? Now, I don't care like how much like you try to preserve these sneakers, just being in air, it's just the oxygen thing. It's just like, you know, the sneaker itself starts to oxidize, and then like you will start to see the bottom portion of the sneaker will actually start to, you know, yellow. And it's not really a good look, because like, you know, with most Air Jordan 11 Concord releases, we're kind of used to seeing that icy blue sole on this sneaker. This time they actually gave us like, you know, this, it's kind of like a cream gold type of color at the bottom. So like, even if this shoe does oxidize over time, I don't foresee it being a situation where it'll ruin the entire sneaker. But it is, and it does have like, you know, the pretty much the standard Air Jordan 11 build. So of course you do. Again, you have that hit of patent leather going across the entire sneaker. This time, like I mentioned, you do have that heavy tumble white leather, and it does seem like, you know, it does have like, you know, some pretty quality thick cut leather going across the entire upper, and it is kind of tumble on all sides of the sneaker. Now on the medial side, you do have the Jumpman, pretty much one of like the most, like the biggest like standouts on this sneaker. In most cases, like they give you like that black Jumpman logo, but this time they have like, you know, this hit of gold here. And then like, you know, you have like that white foam going across the midsole, and then toward the bottom of the sneaker again, you're met with that, you know, that yellowing. I mean, it just is what it is, man. Like, I just feel like with this particular sneaker, over time as it ages, it's not going to look that bad. So that's the lateral side of the sneaker. Now going towards the front here, so let's start with the toe box. So you do have that patent leather there, and then going towards the top of the sneaker, you do have like the ton of the actual sneaker. Now they do give us those white rope laces like they do with most Air Jordan 11 releases. Again, the only thing that kind of stands out on this one is that instead of that mesh material, you do get like, you know, that heavy tumble leather. Now going across like the middle of the tongue, you do have that Jumpman Jordan strap that goes across the middle. This time they did give us like the gold Jumpman logo to kind of like, you know, be consistent with the other hits of gold on the actual sneaker. Now going across the medial side of the sneaker, pretty much what you like, expect on the other side is pretty much similar. You do have that heavy tumble, white leather, and then like you do have like, these, I guess the word would be, we want to call those like I say, like, going for like the rope, like for the rope laces. But at the end of the day, like those this time, instead of that mesh that is like, in that thick leather as well. But overall, man, like this is a pretty solid release. Like I said, when photos of this sneaker started to, surface, I wasn't really a fan, but yeah, man, when I started to see like they had that white leather, I just feel like it's gonna help like the sneaker last a little bit longer, because like over time, that mesh material that we kind of like see on Air Jordan 11s, that tends to yellow in age as well. So after a while, it's like you either trying to look for another pair, which is why they released this sneaker. It's so popular that they actually do like, re-releases on it and everything, and they'll change it up just to make them differentiate from each other. But at the end of the day, like I just felt this one was pretty solid. Now going across the back of the sneaker, one thing that I did want to point out to you, and one thing that I love is that they did go back to putting the number 23 on the back the back tab here. Now the back tab, it is kind of like in this, I guess it's like a cotton material, like it's not like a mesh or anything like that. But at the end of the day, like I'm happy that they went back to put in the number 3. I didn't really like the number 45. That was on like the 2016 pair of the Air Jordan 11 Concords. I believe it was 2016, but nevertheless, I'm glad that they did go back to the number 23, which is Michael Jordan's original number. And it is like, in that gold as well. But overall, man, like that's pretty much it. Like, nothing really else to highlight on the sneaker. Really except for like the bottom. Again, like you do have that hit up, it's like that creamy gold color for the sole of the sneaker. And then this time on the herringbone traction pods, it is black this time around. Normally it's like, kind of like that purple Concord color, which is why they call it Concord. But at the end of the day, pretty overall solid release. And then you do have that carbon fiber on the sneaker this time. Like it has like, that checkerboard kind of appeal to it as well, but this time, like, it's in that black and gold. But yeah, man, overall pretty solid release, man. But if I were to rate this sneaker out of a 10, I would go ahead and give it a 10 out of 10. Again, like I said, I gave you guys the story in the beginning. This is kind of the sneaker that kind of, made me fall in love with sneakers, and I was just kind of overhyped and, just super excited that I was actually one of the first people to kind of hit the street with these back in the day. So of course, like, when I came back from Christmas break going back to school, like, I thought I was all the way live. But at the end of the day, man, like, yeah, 10 out of 10, man. I just think it was well thought. I do like that they did go with the leather upper instead of like, that nylon mesh material that we are normally familiar with, and then like that hit at the bottom. I just feel like as this sneaker tends to age over time, it's going to still look nice, even if it does start to yellow. You're going to still, as long as you can keep the white part clean and everything like that, that leather, you can just kind of like wipe that off. Like this sneaker is going to last you quite some time. So again, I give this a 10 out of 10. And then there is a few things, other things that I want to highlight on this shoe. Now, normally on the back of the sneaker, like you do, on the back of the tongue, we do have like that little tab, and it will say like, the quality basketball products and everything. Now this time, it does look a little bit different because they do have that thank you text going on the sides of the tag. And then on the insole of the sneaker itself, I don't want to pull it out, but it is black and it does have the gold number 23 that matches like, the back tab of the sneaker. So yeah, man, overall pretty solid release, man. I don't really see like anything that they could have done differently on this sneaker. Again, I thought it was well thought. I think it's a solid release. Definitely want to give this a 10 out of 10, but yeah, man, Air Jordan 11 Concord, this is where it started for me. But if you guys have any questions, again, definitely make sure you guys stay engaged. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Everything is at the King of Soul. Before we get up on out of here, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a 360, and then I'm gonna give you a B-roll and on foot. But make sure you guys follow me on all of my social network platforms. I'm gonna try to stay as consistent as I can doing these sneaker reviews. And again, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. But let's go ahead and get you a 360 of the sneakers. So there you go, there's the front. There's the lateral side of the right sneaker. There's the lateral side of the left sneaker. There's the medial side of the right. There's the medial side of the left. There's the bottom of the sneaker. And again, this time they went with the black traction pies instead of the purple Concord. Then there's the back. So again, I'm excited that they went back with the number 3, and this time like it is in gold. But yeah, man, like I said, I just feel like this is a pretty solid release. But like I said before I go, I'm gonna get you guys an on foot in the B-roll. But until next time, thank you for tuning in. See you later.